And we are live. Welcome to RetroSlot episode 27, ROBOCOP versus Terminator. What's up, Jay? How you doing?
I always sit here with this dumb grin on my face. Like, how long am I going to have to hold it this time? Does he see that I'm doing this? One of these days, he's just going to leave me. He's like, all right, here we go. And then 2 minutes later.
just monologue for the first 10 minutes. How are you, man? What have you been up to?
Doing all right. Our family's getting over being sick. It was confirmed to be negative on the COVID stuff. And
Well, that's good.
Yeah. And we learned how difficult it is to get kids tested. We tried to get like little kids. We tried to get like those take home tests because they were symptomatic, and everywhere is sold out of them. So I ordered some on Walgreens, but it took like a week for those to get here, and so we had to get them like tested to make sure before Theo went back to school and Emma in daycare. So went to get a test for Emma, and that took a few days, and then Theo's like it was like $160 up front for him to get an instant test. It's just like
Wow.
it's like a whole thing. So yeah. But
Wow.
confirmed negative. I was sick for a couple of days too, but it's just what they had to. So
I've been
but
COVID tested a number of times at this point, and I just go to I hesitate to call it a walk-in clinic. It's by Hartford Healthcare, which is like a hospital, but they have these like essentially walk-in clinics like all around, and you go there, you sign up, and they ask you what's the matter. You say COVID test, and it's free. I mean, it's not free. It goes to your insurance, but it's free.
right.
I'm surprised it's $160.
Yeah, we get reimbursed, but we have to like manually report it to our insurance.
Oh, really?
And they're supposed to reimburse us, but we haven't gotten reimbursed yet, so we'll see. We've had to do it a couple of times.
Health
They
insurance is
do
the
have
biggest scam going.
Yeah, they do have they have ones that are like 100% free, but it takes like 3 or 4 days to get, to
Yes.
get any kind of response. So it's like, you know, by then either you're going to be non-symptomatic or, whatever it is. It's just unfortunate. And some of those, the one that's like $160 too is the more accurate test. It's not the rapid test.
Mm-hmm.
So it's supposed to be like 90 some odd percent
Speed is
accurate.
kind of the essence with these things.
Yeah.
So I don't like go around spreading it.
You don't want to know that you were sick a week ago, Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. I was so I do photography like on the weekend, and it's you're in a group of people, and some people wear masks. You're outside though. You're outside. Some people wear masks. Some people don't. Like it's kind of like outdoors. What's going on out there. It's pretty much up in the air. But I wear a mask, one because I'm working, so I kind of feel like it's the professional thing to do. But also, I haven't had like even a head cold in 2 years since I started wearing a mask. So I'm kind of at the point where I don't know, man. Like I kind of think I'm gonna just keep doing this, especially because I'm dealing with children when I'm doing photography, because it's like sports photography, like for kids, like little leagues, soccer, that kind of thing. Man, I've gotten forms from these kids that have like literally boogers on them. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like
the kids are giving you a gift. It's a present.
This isn't new for COVID. I bring a bottle of 70% alcohol with me, and I spray my hands like regularly throughout the day just to clean any germs off. Right? This was before COVID.
I thought you were saying you were drinking it 70% alcohol.
No, like, wrong kind of alcohol. But yeah, I don't know. Like, I don't know. Whatever. I don't know. Man, I've been playing a ton of retro games over the last 2 weeks, and like kind of all of them are kind of either covered in news or are the game of the week. So I don't really have a whole lot to talk about games until we get into the news. But I'm looking forward to it. I'm really looking forward to this episode. I've been salivating for this episode.
Sorry, I didn't wear anything more comfortable for you, Briar.
Oh, now we're talking.
But how's life been for you the last couple of weeks?
Pretty good. You know, we've in the Northeast, we've got like that perfect weather pattern where it's like 75 degrees all day, and then it drops into the high 50s, low 60s at night. It's like perfect for like lighting a fire in the backyard and sitting around drinking a couple beers, or like a blanket when you're on the couch. But it's also nice enough all day to do whatever you want. It's like the perfect. Fall is my favorite season, right? The leaves are just starting to turn, so we're gonna get like right into peak foliage season. This is my favorite time of the year. Plus, it's photography season, which I really like that job because it's an excuse to get out. It's a fun job because you're dealing with kids, and it's just a fun thing to do. I don't know. I just love this time of year. It's my favorite time of year. It's energizing.
Yeah, it gets dark early too, so
that's true.
Somebody who has little kids, it's like, oh, we got to go inside. Look, it's dark. We got to get ready for bed. It's like 6:30, 7 o'clock.
When you have kids to bed early, that when their bedtime is before it gets dark, that's a tough thing, right?
Yeah, it's still light out. Yeah, but it's 9 o'clock. Go to bed, dude.
Yeah, go to bed.
It's the summer.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like the chilly. I'm a hoodie weather guy. Like, I like to wear hoodies. It covers up some of the fluff. Like you wear a hoodie or a jacket. When you're wearing like shorts and a t-shirt, the t-shirt like hugs every little crease and crevice on your belly, and you're just like, it's like whatever. We're adults and don't really care too much, but
Also, you get more pockets. Like, it's easier to carry your stuff around. You get more pockets. Once you get to jacket weather or sweatshirt weather, like suddenly you're just an abundance of pockets.
What do you put in those pockets, Briar?
Phones, keys, wallet, masks now. There's like you don't really want to put your mask in your pocket with other things. And
multiple phones.
I'm going to go ahead wallets. And for a while I used to carry multiple phones. It sucked. I like to put my mask in my pocket. Uh-oh, that's probably not good. I like to put my mask in my pocket, but I don't like to put it in the same pocket as... Okay, so I'll make an admission here. I don't wash my pants or shorts between every wear. Okay, all right.
Like,
I know a lot of people do, and a lot of people find it disgusting that other people don't, but I'm not one of those person. I'm probably, I don't know, 3 wears for pants. Depending on what I'm doing, I might even be 2 wears for a shirt. Like, I'll pick up a shirt. I'm like, this smells fine. I'm putting it on.
Okay. My wife kind of does that, but for me, I wear a shirt like for 24 hours. And then okay. I don't wear multiple wears, but once it gets off for a shower, it's off. I don't put that shirt back on. But
Mostly.
I also don't sleep in the buff or anything either. So I wear the same shirt, and literally over the weekend, maybe I'll shower on Friday. Sometimes I don't shower till Sunday
you wear the
Monday.
same shirt all day that you wear to bed? Like you go straight to bed with the same shirt on? Oh, no kidding.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
I can understand like getting less use out of a shirt that way.
Yeah.
But if I'm also like outside and I'm sweating in a shirt, that's different than if I'm inside content creating. There's not a whole lot of sweating that happens.
Yeah, there's not a whole lot of
in the office
perspiring. Yeah.
No.
We we make efficient use of our clothing and things. Like, I don't wear pants often. I gotta be honest.
Oh,
so
no,
when
me
I
neither.
wear pants, often it's just for like a handful of hours. Like, I'll put on pants to go to a get together for like 4 hours. I'll come home, take them off, put pajamas on. That's 4 hours of pants wearing. That's not even a full day. So, like sometimes it really depends. Like, if the pants start getting stained, if they start smelling, they go in the wash.
Uh-huh.
But sometimes, especially for jeans, that could be a couple of weeks. Like, because I just don't wear them often.
I don't. I went to a nice dinner. My father came up to visit the family, and he took us out to dinner. A really nice dinner. It was really nice. And I put pants on for the first time that I can remember. Right? Like, it wasn't the first time this year. I'm sure sometime in the spring I hadn't transitioned to shorts yet.
Mhm.
But once I transitioned to shorts, there's not a whole lot of pants opportunities for me.
Right.
Like, I'm at home, or my eh, the closest thing I have to a job is photography, and that's outside, in the sun. There's no pants, like there's no jeans being worn. It's
Mhm.
just shorts all summer
Mhm.
long, and I don't live in a place that gets cold during the summer.
Do you wear pajama pants at home? Like, are those your lounge wear?
No, it's shorts.
Really?
Yeah.
Because I will wear pajama pants like for this is probably bad for like a week. And then we'll wash them. Uh, and I'm wearing them like 90% of the week, like because I sleep in them.
Oh man. Okay.
Yeah, it's pretty bad.
They're getting kind of funky, I'm sure, by
But
the end
I
of the
have
week.
like I have like 5 or 6 pairs of lounge pants to wear.
Yeah. Why
I
don't
don't
you just
know.
rotate them out?
We do, but
Oh,
we
okay.
just don't wash them every week or,
Okay.
I don't
I
know.
have like workout pants I'll wear in the winter, but I'll just normally just wear jeans all winter. Anyhow,
If there's ever one of those times when you haven't showered
fascinating
in like
content.
if those times that happen where you haven't showered in like 3 or 4 days. When you have little kids, you understand what I mean. Like sometimes there's just not an opportunity. It's like, do I shower? Do I sleep? I'm
Yeah.
going the fuck to sleep. Um, I usually shower every night during the week, and then the weekends sometimes I won't shower for 2 or 3 days. But
I can't shower at night. I have to shower in the morning. I cannot start my day without a shower. Like
yeah,
I cannot leave the house without a shower. I have to take a shower. Like it's like
yeah,
coffee.
that's
It's
how
hand in hand.
yeah, that's how it was when I was like going to school and stuff. But I stream at night, so I shower before I stream. So it's
That
just
makes
like it's
sense.
like the morning for me.
Yeah, that is morning.
Um, yeah. But, I mean, I don't have hair to worry about getting matted or anything either, so
Yeah. Yeah, that's a big part of it,
it's
right? Is like
convenient.
bedhead.
Mhm.
You want to talk about some news? We got some really cool stuff going on this week.
Yeah, let's do it. So, I'll talk about this first one. I found it completely interesting, and I totally backed it. So, on Kickstarter, and you can back this right now today, they made a tiny Game Boy, and when I say tiny, I mean fucking tiny. This thing is smaller than most human males' thumbs, and they called it the Thumbie or the Thumbie. I don't know how you would pronounce that,
I
but
like Thumby.
yeah, it's a tiny Game Boy, and it's a legit working Game Boy. It's got a mini USB on it to charge. It's based on Raspberry Pi technology. It has a working control pad and 2 buttons, and it has games on it, and it will also be open source for folks to develop games or put games on this. But like it's not it's it's not really a good experience type of gaming. It's just a fuck it kind of gaming. Like it's
Just something to put
this
on your keychain kind of thing.
yeah, like it literally comes with a keychain thing, which it's gonna get absolutely mangled if you do that. But it it's 20 it's wait, I think it's $20. It's $19 and I think I got like 5 of them pre-ordered for like, I'm gonna give a few away, like, they're fun little things, and, it's just amazing that it exists and that it's functional. It is teeny tiny.
Do you know if you can load ROMs onto it? You must be able
I
to, right?
believe you can, yeah. It's and you can literally build your own apps as well. It's
That's
got,
fun.
like, stuff built into it. The screen is I r I th I'm trying to find it. It was, like, small.
Yes. There's
It's an
there's
OL
a
yeah,
video on their Kickstarter of a bee using it.
yeah. It's an OLED, and if I remember correctly, it's like 200 by something, and, as far as pixels, like 200 by 140 pixels or something like that, and they used PCB material. You've talked about this PCB website actually before to
Hmm.
get, like, custom PCBs made and stuff like that, and I believe you get a commemorative keychain, which is a functioning PCB board
Oh,
as
neat.
well, like with your orders. Like it's $19 plus shipping. So you know,
This thing's
I got like
adorable.
the special edition, and I'm partial to Game Boys as well. So, and you
Yeah.
can even get a link cable and play with friends. Like it's fucking awesome. And you can check it out. It's Thumby dot what is it? Thumby.us. THUMBY.us. And that'll take you to their Kickstarter.
That's really cute. I really like that. I mean, it's not something you're ever gonna want to play games on, but like, if you're sitting at the DMV or something, it'd be fun to like just pull it out of your pocket and start running
One of
through
the games,
Mario.
yeah. One of the games on there is Snake. Like,
Oh, nice. Oh, it seems perfect for Snake.
yeah.
You
But
have good eyesight though.
yeah, there was like a review video, and if you look at the page, some of the early kind of versions they sent out to people, it's in a Game Boy game case, and it only takes up like an eighth of the Game Boy game case.
It is really
It's
tiny.
got like enough space to have decoration around it, like the little plastic case. It's hilarious.
That is itsy bitsy.
Yeah.
It's kind of
It's
fun.
gotta
I
be
like it.
it's like the smallest one that's maybe ever been created, smallest, like, functioning Game Boy.
Yeah, I might have to order one of those after the show.
If you remember, yeah.
Right.
How many of those other Kickstarters have you gotten in on that we've talked about?
Goose egg.
That looks great. I'm gonna pre-order that. Yeah.
All right, you got the Nintendo Direct on here. I can't wait to get into this.
Yeah,
'Cause
I didn't
Nintendo Direct
even
came with the
watch.
love.
Yeah, I didn't even watch the entire Nintendo Direct, but Twitter did a good job of kind of piecing out some of those retro pictures and all that kind of stuff. Like, I, I don't know what it is. Like, Nintendo and Sega and all those producers are getting really into the retro love, and I'm in for it.
Yeah,
One of the things they announced actually, which is weird in my opinion, that they announced this because like who would have thought Actraiser Renaissance?
yeah,
Like
yeah.
they're remaking, and I think you can buy it right now.
I've played it.
Like
I've put about
it's
6 hours
available.
into it. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's funny.
What you
We
think?
just talked about the original Actraiser. I don't know, a month
A couple
ago
months ago.
on the
Yeah.
show, and I really ended up having a good time with the original Actraiser. So I was kind of in the mood to check this out.
Mhm.
And I'll tell you what, this game makes an awful first impression, like real bad. The graphics are a little jank, like in the first. So it starts off. It's kind of it follows the same kind of pattern as the original Super Nintendo game, where you start the game and it's a side-scrolling action platforming game. With high definition graphics, 16 by 9. Brand new graphics, and the level layout is not the same as the Super Nintendo, but the homage is there, right? It
Mhm.
looks like kind of like a new version of that old level. But it just kind of has a mobile game look to it where like the animation isn't super good, the graphics aren't,
Hmm.
just kind of so one of the things about the graphics in the side-scrolling part of this game is they're pre-rendered 3D visuals. So you don't see a lot of pre-rendered graphics anymore, and it kind of stands out in this game. Normally if they're going to use 3D visuals, they just make a 3D. The game is in 3D. They just present it on a 2D plane, right?
Mhm.
So it's a little weird. And then once you beat the first level, you're presented with the God game. And the God game, honestly, there's more breadth to it. There's more going on. There's like a tower defense portion that has been added to it, and there's just more going on. There's more powers, more characters. They've added heroes that you talk to. There's a lot of dialogue. There's way too much dialogue in the first town that you're in Fillmore. I swear to God, it took me about 3 hours to complete Fillmore, which in Actraiser for the Super Nintendo would take you, what, 20 to 30 minutes?
Yeah.
Not long. It's a long time because it feels like every 10 to 15 seconds you're getting a dialogue pop up, which stops everything, and you have to read the dialogue and like thumb through multiple dialogue screens. And it's rough. It's real bad, honestly. However, once you beat Fillmore and you're presented with the second set of side-scrolling action levels, it looks better. You start getting a feel for how it plays, and then also you start getting a feel for the god levels, and the tutorials calm way down, so you're not getting interrupted constantly. And the game starts getting okay. Like it's not as good as the Super Nintendo original. I don't think that. Do you remember in the Super Nintendo version where you had to clear the monster dens, and basically you just made a road to it, and then your kind of minions would just go do it themselves. You didn't really have to do it. Now you actually go and do a 2D platforming stage each time you do that.
Okay.
Which is fine. It's you're doing something. It's not bad. It's just kind of weird. I think the tower defense part is not real thought out. Like it's kind of separate because like you're building your town, but then you do the tower defense, and it's kind of like it's got its own mechanics. So nothing that you built during the regular god portion really equates to what you're doing in the tower defense. Like you're setting up structures separately. It's kind of weird, but I don't know. It's okay. I'm enjoying it. I'm about 6 hours into it, and I'm enjoying it. I don't like it as much as the SNES original, but it is cool that they made a new one. And I don't know, maybe if this kind of thing is successful, I'd love to see more stuff like this.
Right. It seemed like a weird one for them to pick out to do this with, in my opinion.
Sure does. Yeah.
Do you think it's worth $30?
No, I don't. I don't. I'll tell you when you're playing in Fillmore, that first god level, it's so awful because of those pop-ups constantly. I'm not lying when I say it's every 10 to 15 seconds. You're getting like it blurs the screen. You get this like kind of angel on the screen, or you get your hero on the screen, and they just start talking, and you have to thumb through the talking, and it's constant. It is so annoying. If they patched that, I don't know how you would patch that. If they did something about that, maybe if this game was like $10 or $15, I'd probably say, yeah, pick it up. But for $30, I don't know. Like, I want to support the developers. I like this kind of stuff when they give it a crack, but it's so bad of a start to this game that I bet a lot of people are going to pick this game up and never get through the first 2 hours because it's so annoying. But once you get through that, it gets better. But I don't like to recommend games. Oh, it's good after the first 6 hours. Like so I got to suffer through 6 hours.
You got to watch the entire first season before it gets good. It's like, but I don't want to do that.
Go fuck yourself. How about I read a synopsis of the first season? I'm not going to put 40 hours, not 40 hours. How long is a season of television? Like, if it's short, they got 13 episodes that are like 45 minutes each. So you're thinking 10 hours. That's 10 hours of TV. I don't want to watch that. Did I tell you I've been watching, or I was watching, they made a remake of Walker, Texas Ranger.
Oh, really?
You remember that old TV show, right, with Chuck Norris?
The Chuck Norris one.
So they made a new one, and it's got one of the guys from Supernatural. Have you ever seen the Supernatural TV show?
I know who you're talking about, but I haven't seen the show, no.
Okay, so you should watch that show because it's fucking awesome, and that one's good from day one.
Wiferton liked it.
Yeah, it's awesome. It's bad, but it's awesome. But
one of those.
Fucking, there is not a single karate kick anywhere in the new Walker, Texas Ranger. There's no reference to karate, kung fu, taekwondo, nothing. There is not a high kick thrown in the entire first season. Like, what the fuck are you even doing?
That's a different show. That's not Walker, Texas Ranger.
Why did you name this Walker?
That's his brother, Chuck.
Anyhow, tangent.
I was gonna say, like, with them bringing back Actraiser, I'm curious if all the tutorials are in their brain necessary to get over some of the the hump that retro games have as far as like trying to figure out how to play them, because some of those games are complicated and confusing to go back to now without some sort of guide. If you go back and play like Link to the Past without a guide or people helping you, like it's fucking confusing because you have to have certain weapons or certain abilities to go to certain parts before you can do other things, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah,
Actraiser has a little bit of that. I think a lot of it is what city do you start with? Because the original Actraiser you just didn't know, and you
yeah,
don't know the proper order and stuff unless you look it up. So I'm wondering if they felt like they needed to do that with the way that games are today, that usually the onboarding in games today is a lot better,
yeah.
naturally in the game design as opposed to games from,
They went
like, early
so
90s.
far overboard,
Yeah.
like so far. You spend the first 2 to 3 hours of this game literally getting 15 seconds of gameplay and then 15 seconds of like dialogue, like just in this repetitive, nonstop slog. It starts off real bad. It slows down the dialogue way down as you progress after Fillmore, but Fillmore is real bad, real
Mhm.
bad.
Yeah, that's unfortunate.
Yeah, yeah.
You'll
If
have to
they
let me
just
know if you continue playing how it is.
I am gonna keep playing it because now that I'm through that, I'm having a great time. Like I'm legitimately having a great time. I like the way the 2D action platformer controls. I'm having a good time with that. It looks real nice. The first level for some reason looks horrible. The second level looks great. The third level looks great. So I don't know why they.
Weird.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it really just makes such a bad impression. But
Like
yeah, I
that
will keep
first
playing it.
level's a different developer or something.
It is two different developers. The God mode and the action platformer are two different developers.
Weird.
Yeah.
Huh. So any Castlevania lovers out there, they're bringing back the Castlevania Advance collection. And then you also get a bonus Dracula X, which Briar said that, it's not that great of a game, but those Game Boy Advance games are fantastic, right?
Yeah,
For
they're. I think
for
all
20
three of them are
bucks.
good. Some people put like Aria of Sorrow as like this Halo Castlevania game, like it's one of the best Castlevanias ever. But I think Circle of the Moon and Harmony of Dissonance are also good. This is a weird collection though. It's like there's only 4 games. The last Castlevania collection had Castlevania, Castlevania 2, Castlevania 3, Super Castlevania 4, Castlevania the Adventure, Castlevania 2 Belmont's Revenge, Castlevania Bloodlines, Kid Dracula, and it had a history of Castlevania like museum kind of thing in it. And this one's just got the 4 games, and it doesn't feel like really cohesive as a product, right? And it doesn't feel cohesive compared to the last Castlevania collection either. So it's kind of a weird product. It seems hastily thrown together.
The last one was the one that they released on limited run, yeah, as a
Yes,
collection.
eventually they did release the unlimited run.
How much was the larger collection on the Switch? The other one, how much did it cost?
I want to say it was $30, but I'm not positive. I could look it up
I
real
mean,
quick, but I
as
don't want
far
to
as
Google stuff.
cost, yeah, as far as for folks that just want the games to play legitimately and legally, like this is a good deal because
Yes.
if you go and try to buy Circle of the Moon, Harmony of Dissonance, Aria of Sorrow, just the carts, like that's you're looking at 150 to 200 bucks in today's market. And Dracula X, I mean, forget about it. That's a $250 cart. Um,
Yeah.
so as far as legal content that you're buying to play them, this is a good deal if you just want to play it. As far as, them being essentially ROMs, and I don't know if they have updated it at all. Like those graphics hold up real well. That's like the SNES style graphics.
Yeah. Uh,
So,
I don't know. I was looking. I was watching some video. I haven't bought this one yet. I'll probably buy it on the Switch. But I was watching some video of it on I think the Xbox, like actually on the Xbox. Like it's in the store, so I just clicked it and was
mhm.
watching video. And man, they present it in like a super small box in the center of the screen with
Oh
like this
no.
huge wide border all around it. So they didn't like scale it out very well to use the whole screen or anything, which I think is kind of table stakes, frankly.
Yeah.
And especially if now that we got consoles that can do native 4K so well, it'd be nice to get like an upscaled 4K version of these. Not upscaling the 2D graphics to 4K, but just multiplying the number of pixels used to actually display these games nice and sharp without any shimmering. I think it's totally doable. I don't know. The games play really well. The emulation is really good in these. In this collection, it's just, to me, it's just a weird. After how cool the last Castlevania collection was and how many games were in it, it'd be nice if they kind of set this up. So it'd be cool if their PlayStation game was in this. The what's the PlayStation game called? I forget.
Oh, Symphony of the Night.
Symphony of the Night. Symphony of the Night makes sense in this collection, wouldn't it? Because Symphony of the Night is what Circle of the Moon, Harmony of Distance, Aria of Sorrow were kind of based off of. That's when the game went to that Metroidvania style. Before that, it was always like this level-based style, traditional action platformer, right? It was like, you go to level 1, you go to level 2, you go to level 3. Yeah. It wasn't until Symphony of the Night where they went to that Metroid style. And then the Game Boy Advance collection, or the Game Boy Advance games, kind of continued that line. They split from there to be 2D Metroidvanias on the mobile games, and on the consoles they went 3D, right? They started doing the N64 games, and then the I don't know, other 3D games. Yeah. So it's
I was just gonna ask how the story correlates with their split on these, because I know that they have like different protagonists and stuff in some of them.
Yeah, I mean, to me, once you get into this era of Castlevania, I start to lose the plot and the story. Like, start getting into, Dracula not being the main villain in some of them and stuff like that. I'm actually not super familiar with these games. I did not play these when they were new, and I haven't played them ever. So I'll probably pick this up on the Switch. I think I'm going to wait till I could get a physical copy of it. I'm sure Limited Run will do it, because they seem to be working pretty closely with Konami on all of these. They did the Contra collection. They did the Castlevania collection. So I'm sure they'll do this. It's just a weird. Like, I'd like to be in the meeting at Konami where they're deciding, like, how should we put this collection together? Like, what games should be included, what games shouldn't be included. Because I think there's a way that they kind of could make these complete packages of like eras or styles, and I don't know, maybe they already messed that up with the first one, because the first one was kind of scattershot too, right? You had some Game Boy games, you had all the NES games, you had one of the Super Nintendo games but not the other one, you had a Genesis game but not the PC Engine game, so it's like it was kind of all over the place. But at least it kind of made sense. It was like the first few, right?
Have they even remade Symphony of the Night up to this point?
Yeah, they did. There was a version of it that came out for the PSP. It was the PSP or PS Vita. I think it was the PSP.
Chronicles?
Yes, and that actually came out on the PlayStation 4 as well, which you could still pick up. And that includes Symphony of the Night and Rondo of Blood, which are both missing from the Castlevania collection. So I wonder if there's some kind of exclusivity deal with Sony, because I think those are both Sony published.
Very
so maybe
or possible.
Yeah, maybe that's why those two games, which are obviously very popular games, Rondo of Blood. I mean, I think an argument could be made, and I'm not necessarily making it myself, but I think an argument could be made. Those are the two best Castlevania games.
Yeah, a lot of people like them.
Yeah. I don't know. Maybe it's just a licensing deal with Sony or something. Who knows?
Yeah. Those things last forever, I feel like.
What's that?
Like, how long ago was that? 20 years ago? Jesus.
Well, it just came out. Wait, the remake?
Like Symphony of the Night and stuff, how long did that licensing deal start, and has it continued for 20 years?
Well, because it just came out again for the PS4. That's why I'm thinking that that collection. I don't know. I don't know. What the fuck do I know?
A lot of N64 and Genesis love in the Nintendo Direct.
Yeah. Do you want to talk about the games first, then the controllers, or the controllers first?
Okay. Yeah, we can talk about the games. So it seemed like they did kind of a like, just kind of a mashup of games. Um, like I don't know. It's interesting.
I feel like they
They
nailed both of these lists actually. Like for launch, like right off the gate. Like we don't know how much this is going to cost because they've said this is going to be an extra fee over what you're paying
right
for the Nintendo Online service.
expansion pack,
Right.
whatever that
However,
is.
I feel like they nailed both of these lists of games. Like they're really strong launch lineups.
Yeah, they are very good games for sure. I didn't mean to say that they weren't. It just seemed like they just like cherry picked a lot of the good ones. There was no real like cohesiveness between games, in my opinion. But like it
Yeah.
was just, what are some of our best games? Let's just throw them on there.
Yeah.
Um, like
I
what are
mean,
some of the ones that stick out to you as being unique and good? Because there's a lot of them that are obvious, like Super Mario 64, Ocarina of Time, Mario Kart 64, all those. But
yeah. Honestly, the first time I saw this list, the only game that I saw that I would have really liked to see that wasn't on it was Mario Golf, and then they added that later. I was like, oh
yeah,
shit!
that's more
Like
to
it's
come. Yeah,
yeah, they've got F-Zero X, Paper Mario, Kirby 64. I mean, Sin and Punishment, I think it's kind of an obscure game. Not a lot of people know it, but it's on here. Like
and
without having
Winback
to
too.
worry about like GoldenEye licensing, I think they hit most of the bases. Like the big, like the big stuff is here. You know?
Yeah. Trying to think of what else would be on here is at least first party stuff. I mean, you have things like Conquer or some of the RPGs, but those are going to be, not Nintendo first party titles.
Yeah,
So,
yeah. I mean, this is a good list of N64 games. Like
oh
real
yeah,
good list. I'm just gonna run through the list real quick for people that are
sure.
listening. Super Mario 64, Legend of Zelda: Ocarina of Time, Mario Kart 64, Star Fox 64, Sin and Punishment, Dr. Mario 64, Mario Tennis 64, which is a good Mario Tennis, Win Back, and Yoshi's Story. And then they also said upcoming Nintendo 64 titles with more to come. So these won't be at launch, but they'll be, you know, theoretically coming relatively soon. Although they tend to take their sweet ass time releasing games for these. Banjo Kazooie, Pokemon Snap, Majora's Mask, Kirby 64, Mario Golf, Paper Mario, and F-Zero X. I mean, that's a strong fucking lineup.
Yeah.
Like
Those are
the
all, as the kids would say, those are all dubs.
yeah, the Nintendo 64 is not the most exceptionally deep catalog. You know, like there's definitely some stuff that's missing here, but they really hit the big ones.
I think there's less than 300 games in the US library, I think.
Yeah, and there's a lot of
I was
crap in that 300.
Yeah. I was wondering if they were going to, like, upscale them at all, kinda like how they did with Mario 64.
Yeah, I don't know. It's hard. So I do have a emulator for Nintendo 64 on my PC that I mainly use to play Mario Golf with because
Mhm.
I just don't play a whole lot of N64 games. The problem with upscaling N64 is that you can get you get 4K polygon graphics, but the textures look super low res. Like
Yeah.
so it just in some games it can be kind of fun. Like Mario Golf does an okay job with it, but all of the textures that make up like the UI are still 240p. And they're like blurry 240p because
Mhm.
N64, right? So you're looking at like ultra crisp, lines that make up the
Text and
golfers
yeah.
and the course, but then the grass is made out of like this really low res texture, and the trees have this really low res texture in them. So it's a
That
tough
was a
one.
feature. That was the Vaseline filter they put on there.
They sure did put that on there. I actually have a modded N64 that I can take that off of, and they look way better.
Yeah.
So now I actually, since I bought that N64, I play Mario Golf on a cartridge because it's
Is that
really my
the
favorite N64 game.
you got the HDMI, like, chip in the
It's not
N64?
HDMI; it's RGB output that goes into an
Okay.
OSSC, and the
Okay.
OSSC outputs HDMI.
Sweet.
Uh, And then we got the Genesis games. I'll just read off the Genesis games real quick. Sonic the Hedgehog 2, Streets of Rage 2, Echo the Dolphin, Castlevania Bloodlines, Contra Hardcore, Dr. Robotnik's Mean Bean Machine, Golden Axe, Gunstar Heroes, Musha, Phantasy Star 4, Rise Star, Shining Force, Shinobi 3, Return of the Ninja Master, and Strider. That's another fucking strong list.
Yeah, there's a few titles on here that I definitely will want to cover in the future that I've thought about bringing forward, and it makes it more accessible for us to do stuff like this too if people are able to play them easily.
Yeah.
I'm just really curious what they're going to do with the pricing of the expansion pack. I was talking about this on the stream the other day, and it's like, okay, so Nintendo's subscription is $20 for the year.
Yeah.
What would be a good price for them to add on to this? Because you don't want to do a monthly model. You don't want to switch to a monthly model, in my opinion, because it wouldn't be worth it to spend $5 a month or $10 a month just to get these games. So, what do you think is a reasonable expectation to add onto a $20 a year subscription to get stuff like this?
Man, that's a tough question because the real problem with this system is that you don't own these games. You only have access to them as long as you keep that subscription up. So, like year after year, you're paying for these games that when this subscription runs out, you're no longer going to have access to. And like, let's be honest, the Switch is getting long in the tooth at this point. A lot of people predict that we'll have like the next, like the Switch 2 or Nintendo's next console in a couple of years. So how much money do you want to sink into paying? Because I don't use their online service at all. Like, I don't play any online games on the Nintendo Switch. It's just, I think Splatoon is the only one that interests me at all, and I don't play Splatoon anymore. So it's like, really what I'm paying for is having access to NES, Super Nintendo, and now the Genesis and the N64. And they update these lists so slowly, that I don't feel like, I feel like when they first launch the list, I'll play through a bunch of the games, or I'll play a bunch of the games, not all the way through them, and then I don't look at that list again for months at a time. So they don't have a lot of wiggle room, in my opinion. I'm thinking like $10 is the high end of where they can go, like $30 a year. That's the high end.
That's the number that's in my head too. I mean, I think $1 a month is definitely doable. For something where you're essentially renting these games,
Yeah.
and they are really good games. So there's going to be people that buy it that don't play them at all, and there's going to be people that buy it that play them regularly. So, and it really depends on if they do anything on the back end with these games or if they're just essentially loading ROMs and giving you access to it. So,
Yeah. In the case of the Sega Genesis games too, is there is a Sega Genesis collection that's already on the Switch, right? And it has most of these games on it.
right.
And Castlevania and Contra are both on Konami's collections. So it's like, there's not a whole lot on this list that you didn't have access to before. It's not like the N64 list, where the N64 list was like, well, there's not a whole lot of ways without emulating that you can play N64 games. And this is emulating. So, I mean, let's be clear. But, like, this is a pretty legit way to play N64 games, and there's not a whole lot of ways to do that. Whereas with Genesis, I mean, every console has Genesis collections. Some of them have multiple Genesis collections. The Switch already has a Genesis collection with most of these games already on it. So if you bought that collection with like 30-something Genesis games that had a really slick package, right? It's like you had this like virtual bedroom, and you could like pull the copies of the game off the shelf and like look at the boxes, and you could actually put them in the console. It was a cool collection.
They have that for Steam too, if I remember correctly.
Yes, they do. Yeah. So it's a tough one. It's a tough one.
Yeah. Sega is very forthright with their licensing at this point. They're just like, yeah, you want to put it? Yeah. Pennies on the dollar. Just give me some money and it'll be good to go.
Well, I mean, you say that, but I thought that collection, they did a really good job. Like it was a really slick package. It was really professionally done. I thought they did a really good job with their Sega Genesis mini console too. Like that was a really nice package. And they even went so far as to like have a little plastic 32X and Sega CD that you could add onto it that were non-functional, but like aesthetically, it was cool to make the Tower of Power again.
Did you end up doing that?
No, I haven't actually bought any of the mini consoles.
Oh,
I
bought
own
them
still.
Yeah, I bought them right when they were released, and I tried them out, and they were okay. There's a little bit of like input delay on
Hmm.
that stuff. You're playing it on HDMI and all that stuff, so there's a little bit of input delay. But other
Yeah,
than that, it's they were accessible.
yeah.
Easy
I
to
think they're awesome. They don't fit my use case.
yeah. They are coming out with a couple of controllers for N64 and Genesis, just so that you can specifically play with the N64 controller, Briar. Just you specifically.
I will not be buying the N64 controller, but I'm glad that
50 bucks though. 50
people
bucks.
who like them will be able to spend $50 and reminded how bad it actually was. You get to pay $50 for that privilege. I wonder actually if you'll be able to take these apart and use the parts to repair original controllers, because like those thumbsticks or thumbsticks are fucked, right? If you have an
Yeah.
original N64 controller, chances are that thumbstick is basically as loose as like a hot dog, like flopping around.
I have a visual of Briar waving a hot dog around.
Like they were amazing. It was amazing technology at the time. It was the first like widely available analog stick in a home console. It was really crazy, awesome technology. But man, it was an early go at that technology. They just didn't last that well. That shape wasn't that good. Like the N64 controller, while it was stunning at the time, man, it just didn't hold up well.
Yeah, I think they released Mario Party specifically to fuck you and make you buy more controllers.
Yeah.
It's like all those games, you're just like sitting there like absolutely racking on that thumbstick.
There's literally like bits of plastic coming off of it. Like there's like it's like makes this like dust out of the innards of it. The thing.
When I'm flipping hardwares or whatever, I will just if I see a picture and you can look on the inner like concave area of the joystick, and if there's like paint marks on the inside, I'm like, yeah, that's a loose stick right there.
That's a loose stick.
But
You gotta
if
tighten up
if
that
it's
stick,
clean,
sir.
if it's clean, it might, more often than not, it's a tight stick, nice and tight.
It's probably been replaced if it's clean.
Yeah. I have a couple of pretty like new in box controllers that are
Yeah.
super clean, but
You
this is an
can
opportunity.
replace those. You can buy the kit online that
Right.
has that whole mechanism in it, and it's pretty affordable. But if you could actually, because this will be a Bluetooth controller, so theoretically you could use it with a PC emulator, or you could use it with a Bluetooth receiver on an actual N64.
I wonder if you could use it with analog. Well, I mean, there's no analog in 64, but just theoretically.
Yeah, theoretically. I mean, there probably will be, right?
Oh, maybe 10 years from
I,
now.
the thing is, though, is I just don't like the shape of the thing. Like I have a N64 controller that I like much better,
Yeah.
and this is not one of my favorite controllers in the world, but it's way better than the actual like 3-prong N64 controller that came with the system. So, hey, man, each to his own. If you
Yeah.
want this thing, get after it, because $50 I think it's a little high, but it's not like outrageous, right?
I mean, Nintendo controllers are always expensive. Let's be honest, and they stay
Yeah.
expensive. They never go on sale.
No.
Um,
What do they
what do you
charge
think?
for the NES one?
I think they're 20 or 30 bucks.
Okay.
I remember, but you can get them in a 2-pack too, probably for 50 or 60 bucks. That's how they get you.
Okay.
What do you think about the Sega Genesis controller using the 3-button version?
I would have rather you. So in Japan, they're going to release the 6-button version. I don't understand. Like, why can't we have the 6-button
Yeah.
version? The
Aren't there some
6-button
games that
version,
you can't?
yeah, but not a lot of them, honestly. Like, I don't know if any of the games on this list were 6-button games, actually.
No,
Um,
probably like
but
fighters and stuff.
one of the things about the 6-button controller is it has one of the best D-pads in gaming history. Like, it's just a phenomenal D-pad, like a great controller. The 6-button layout, it's a very small controller, so it's not super comfortable. For Genesis games, I use 8-Bit Do's M30, which has a D-pad that is very much inspired by the 6-button controller, and then it has a 6-button lineup, like layout, and it's pretty comfortable. I like this controller. I won't be buying either of these for myself. I don't really have a need for either one of them. I don't find the 3-button controller to be that comfortable in my hands. It's kind of big and bulky, and depending on, there's several versions of the 3-button controller that actually shipped with the Genesis. Some of them were straight up like sharp, like the D-pad was actually sharp enough to like hurt your thumb after a prolonged. I'm not shitting you. It's like, it wasn't like the corners weren't like rounded; they were like somewhat sharp.
Haptic feedback built in. Fuck! Ow! Son of a bitch.
I don't know. Like it's definitely more. It's somewhat. That's the controller that the Genesis shipped with for a long time. So,
yeah,
both options are available. You can get the 6-button version if you order from Japan. It'll probably cost you $70 though.
Yeah, get it shipped over.
But you can use this with a Switch as well. So,
oh, that's
and this
cool.
is $35.
Yeah.
So I don't really see the need, frankly.
So some of the drama going around the internet right now is the new Mario movie that has been announced. It is an animated movie and with a star-studded cast. And there's a lot of opinions about the cast. What are your opinions, Briar?
I think they nailed it. I think
Really?
this was an amazing piece of casting. I mean, just genius. Just genius. Charlie Day as Luigi? Come on. That works. Anya Taylor-Joy looks like Princess Peach. She could be Princess Peach.
Yeah.
Jack Black
Hey, it's me, Mario. Hey.
Jack Black as Bowser? I get it. Like that you could have a funny Bowser, right?
I got the princess, skadoosh.
Skittish. Seth Rogen is Donkey Kong. I don't know where they're going with that, but it is just a voice actor.
Gonna be high as fuck the whole time.
Like the thing is about like this is an animated movie. People can change their voices, right? They can, so like I think that Chris Pratt as Mario was the one that really shocked people. Yeah. But Chris Pratt was in, what was that other movie he was just in? Animated movie. He was fine.
Yeah.
I don't know.
He's probably going to do like a...
This is a kid's movie, you understand.
It's me, Mario. Like, it's not hard to do that voice, really.
No, it's not. Everybody can do it. And this is a kid's movie. Like, adults getting upset on the internet about the casting of a children's movie, to me, is just whatever, guys. At least we're not talking about politics, I guess.
Yeah. I think Keegan-Michael Key as Toad is, like, I think he's hilarious.
Yeah, I think he's hilarious, too. I think it's funny that they got a big, tall guy to play Toad.
I wonder if, because Toad typically has that kind of voice, so I wonder if they're going to, I just am curious. And then Fred Armisen as Cranky Con is be like, yeah, it's just gonna be kind of in Portland, man. Just the aloof kind of character.
Yeah, I don't know. It's a kids' movie. They're gonna.
It's fun. I want to see where they go with it. Like, I'm not upset either way. I'm curious. Like, I want to be curious about it and I want it to be kind of fun as opposed to being all, they fucked up this not my Mario. Like, I don't know.
What Mario, though? Like, Mario has been so many different things throughout the years, right? Current Mario is not the same as, like, old Mario. Like, fucking Lou Albano played Mario. Come on.
Yeah.
Captain Lou, he had fucking elastic bands hanging off of his fucking skin.
It doesn't say, or no, yeah. Bring back the original live cast Mario Brothers. I need John Leguizamo back. Come on.
Oh, from the movie?
Yeah.
I mean, that movie is worth watching just for how bad it is, really.
Yeah.
Like
The
that and the Street Fighter
documentary
movie.
talking yeah, the documentary about that movie and talking about, like, just how ridiculous it was every day. They were changing the plot, like, daily, and the main actors were just like, "Yeah, we didn't read the script going into the day because we didn't know if it was gonna change or not," and they were, like, drunk half the time and shit, like
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I know people are mad that Chris Pratt is playing Mario. I'm kind of looking forward to it. I'm hoping he nails it.
yeah.
Is
Sure, it'll
it
be
cool
fine.
to hate Chris Pratt now? Maybe is Chris Pratt been in too much stuff? Is he too popular? Is that what's going on here?
There's some I haven't read too much into it, but apparently he there's, like, some political stuff going around about him or
Oh,
something.
is he not a liberal?
I
Oh, you're not
don't
allowed to be
know.
not a literable liberal.
I I I
Didn't
know.
he
So,
get the memo?
I I don't know too many details about it. I'm sure somebody will share with me or us about specifics, but I think it's more
Don't
just
bother.
that
I don't care.
he hasn't been very outspoken against certain things that a lot of people have been, and so people are reading into that kind of thing, I think is what's happening. So yeah, there's some folks that are not too keen on him at the moment, for sure.
Okay. I don't pay
I don't
attention
know.
to that.
It's unfortunate too because, like, going back to, like, Parks and Rec and, uh Star-Lord and all that kinda stuff, I always enjoyed seeing him on screen, so
Yeah, he's
I don't know.
hilarious.
I don't know what's going on behind the scenes, but as long as he's not being anti, like, civil rights or something like that, like, publicly, or anti-vaccine or something, it's probably fine.
He
I don't
shoots
know.
Mexicans because he thinks it's funny. Oh, okay. Maybe we should back off
Yeah,
on
that's
the
pretty
Chris
bad.
Pratt.
Let's be on the not good train there, yeah.
All
We won't
right.
do that.
Yeah, we don't like that.
No, no. Official statement, we don't like that. Put it in writing. I'll put a blood stamp on it, it's fine. My favorite part of RoboCop versus Terminator is the intro screen, by the way.
What?
Do, 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 do,
That's
do, do,
your
do.
favorite part?
That's my favorite part.
Listen to me here, okay? I'm gonna tell you this. This is not only the best RoboCop versus Terminator game, it's also the best RoboCop game, and it's also the best Terminator game. What do you think of that?
What about those, like, arcade games?
What about them? Like T2? Are you talking about T2, the shooter game?
Yeah, the first person
That was
shooters.
pretty fun, but this is better. This is better. That wasn't a first person shooter. That was like a side scrolling like gun
Like an
game.
on-rail shooter, yeah.
It wasn't even on rails, it's just side scrolling.
Oh. Oh, yeah, I guess it wasn't like, okay.
Yeah, I think it was before 3D graphics, right? That was in the early 90s.
Yeah.
That
But, I mean, it
they
was
came
still
out with
kind of
that on the
on rails,
Genesis.
though. It was still
Yeah,
kinda on rails, though.
it was like on rails, but it was only
Side-scrolling.
side scrolled.
Yeah.
Yeah. This game, I don't know. I'm a little worried now that you're not gonna like this game, but this game I think is fantastic. Not only does it have RoboCop versus Terminator, I mean, which on its own is pretty cool, but it does it in a fairly like entertaining way. Like you play as the RoboCop in an action platformer, side-scrolling action platformer. You go through, I think, 10 levels. Ranging from a cityscape to like the building of Delta City, like a construction area. You go into tunnels. You go into all these different places. The graphics are stupendous, I think, for a Genesis game. Like really good. The animation of RoboCop is really good. I think the enemies they selected are, if not obscure, they're cool. And the game plays really well. It's kind of like a slowed down version of Contra. Like it's a really cool game. All right, shatter my dreams, Jack. Go ahead, do it.
No. Okay, so I'm just dragging you on here. I enjoyed it. I did not get very far in it.
It's hard.
Uh, but yeah, I enjoyed the visuals. The music kind of threw me off. Like I didn't feel like the music necessarily fit some of the environments.
Okay.
because it would be kind of like like it just didn't feel very intense sometimes. Um,
I felt like they were trying to
the
go for like that Terminator like soundtrack without actually using the Terminator music,
Could be, yeah,
like kind of like heavy electronic kind of stuff.
yeah. Um, the platforming is not my favorite in this game.
Okay.
The movement was a little tough to get used to. It's not really like any. I mean, you liken it to Contra, which is similar, but it's you can move in midair and stuff and be mobile and stuff, but some of the you almost in certain parts you almost want it to be more rigid for like crouching and stuff because sometimes you'll try to like jump crouch or something and you end up
Hmm.
moving up and down at a diagonal instead. So it's kind of hard
One of
to
the
get
things
used to
about
the
the jump in this
controls.
game is your sprite doesn't get smaller. Like you don't curl
Right.
up in a ball like in Contra and like
Like
spin. So they would well, it's useful in Contra because your sprite gets smaller, so you can actually dodge bullets.
yeah.
Whereas in this one, if you try and jump to dodge bullets, sometimes you'll just kind of take one to the face because your sprite
Yeah.
is, it just goes up, right?
Yeah.
The jumping is a little stiff, but I think it looks cool.
Is it weird that I enjoyed the sound of getting hit by bullets? Like, do that more. Come on.
One of the fucked up things about this game, I think this is actually a well-programmed game. I think it's actually like a legit good game. It's not a 9 out of 10, but I'd
Right.
give it a 7 out of 10 or an 8 out of 10 for
Yeah.
in its day. But one of the quirks of it is that it doesn't have like a damage gate. So like if you get hit by 7 bullets all at once, you take 7 bullets worth of damage all at once, right? It's
Yeah.
not
That.
like you don't get hit and flash and then you're able to tank like a couple bullets. You take all
Yeah.
that damage.
Yeah. I was gonna say that was honestly the thing that got me to stop playing because I was on the second boss, which is
Kane.
the robot,
Yeah, that's
and
the Kane from the second movie.
right. For anybody who's listening, it's a very small room. A lot of these bosses are very small rooms, and so there's two platforms on either side, and there's like a railing on top going across that you can kind of glide across. Which gliding across the railings and it's speeding up was one of my favorite effects that they did.
Yeah, just
Um,
like the
but in,
movie.
yeah, but in the boss room, there's like two ladders on each side, so it's obvious that they want you to go back and forth depending on where the boss is. The problem is when you're hanging there trying to shoot down or whatever, and the boss gets the corner of the boss like hitbox hits your toe, and your health bar just goes, and you're
Yeah,
dead.
because
Like
it's
it's
like,
instant.
yeah, there is no like it doesn't hit you once and then you flash. It's like the damage model must be like every frame of animation is
Yeah,
like one tick off of your life bar, so it'll just literally go from full to like a quarter in like it feels like a half a second. So you just gotta
yeah.
just not touch
Can't
him.
react. Yeah, you can't
No,
react.
yeah, you can't react. It's a tough boss fight because of that.
Right. So it was frustrating for me getting killed like 3 or 4 times with that. I was like, "All right, I'm done." Because it's a long level too, getting to that
Yes, it's a
point.
difficult level too.
So it just kind of took the wind out of my sails a little bit. But I
Yeah,
was telling Briar before the show, there are a lot of like cheat codes for this game, and I'm pretty sure you can do like 99 lives or something
yeah,
similar. And I was also on normal mode, so you can go to easy mode. So I'd like to go back through it and do that just to kind of experience the game as it's meant to be. But I was trying to do, as Briar has said, do it, as intended. But
yeah,
it's as intended, it's quite difficult because of how harsh the damage mechanics are. It's a
yeah.
little tough to get past for me. But the game itself is great. The gore is amazing. They even
It's
said in the developer interview they wanted to make it as much gore and blood as possible. And they had when they were developing the game, they had switches. So if management came by, they could just turn off or turn
yeah,
down
they're
the
trying to
gore.
sneak it by.
This came out after Mortal Kombat
Right,
2, and it was still awarded bloodiest game of '93 from
right.
EGM.
Yeah, amazing. Right, it is bloody. Right, it's like
Yeah.
in the first level. I think the first level actually makes a fantastic first impression because you're in like this night cityscape, and you just start walking straight forward. All you start off with is that RoboCop pistol, which is super
It's
cool
fast.
because he takes it out of his leg like in the movie, and his idle animation is him spinning it like on his finger like he does in the movie too, which I think is pretty cool. But I think that weapon feels really good. He can shoot straight up, he can shoot on a diagonal, and he can shoot straight forward, and you can crouch and shoot. And that first level I think is pretty cool because it's a little bit straightforward, but you see a big variety of enemies, and you see the gore. It's like you shoot a person in a window who's popping out a window, and the blood splashes across the window. And at the end of the level, you see your first T-800, your first Terminator, and you blow the skin, like after you fight him for a second, you blow the skin off of him, and then he stands back up, like his eyes, while he's laying there, his eyes glow red, he stands back up as a Terminator, like as the exoskeleton. It's so fucking cool.
Yeah, there's like 4 stages to that fight. Every time it's like he'd go down, I'm like, you okay, bud? He's just taking a little nap in the middle of the fight. It's fine.
Another thing about this game is the weapons are fucking crazy. Like, it's got weapons I've never seen in a game. It's got like standard weapons, like the spread shot, but like that grenade weapon. Have you ever seen another weapon that acts like that?
I couldn't figure it out because you would have to fire and those grenades would stay in midair until you hit something on the D-pad.
Yeah.
But the problem is you're moving the bullets, but also your character at the same time.
Right.
So you had to figure out like how to do that simultaneously. Like you'd have to be in a proper position. Otherwise, you're going to end up touching the boss and dying instantly.
Right. But if you do it right, you do massive damage because you can basically create. So basically, this is a rapid fire grenade launcher, and the grenades just stay hovering. And if you hit up on the D-pad, all the grenades go up. If you hit down on the D-pad, all the grenades come down. So what you do is you can kind of cluster all of them together, and then be walking with them in front of you and just fucking up anything. But if you need to suddenly change directions, shoot something behind you, you're kind of fucked. Yeah. So it's great for bosses, but for everything else, it kind of sucks. But then there's heat-seeking missiles that just like take out anything on the screen.
Those are awesome. You can just fire them wherever. They're like
they're easy mode, right? And then the spread shotgun is really good too. I guess it's a shotgun, but that's a really good weapon too. I think the weapons are really good. There's like 8 different weapons in the game. You can even take Ed 209's like machine gun off of them and start using that.
Yeah, well, that's part of the movie like scene, right? The brrr.
Yeah, it's fun too because they take all these characters from both RoboCop and from Terminator movies. Like the guy who is the annoying guy who tried to shoot RoboCop with that huge gun in the movie, and he got splattered into the toxic waste.
I haven't seen this movie for like 25 years, so
that guy's in the game, right? And he's got this big ass gun. And he's trying to shoot RoboCop with it, and like the boss from RoboCop 2, like the big bad guy in his robotic form is one of the bosses. Ed 209 is in there. Multiple versions of Terminators are in there. It's fucking batshit crazy. It's like, how did this even get made, and why aren't they making it still? Because I would absolutely love to play more RoboCop versus Terminator games. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah, this would be a great game to bring back for sure. Did you know that you can play as RoboCop versus Terminator in Mortal Kombat 11?
Hell yeah, I do.
I learned
you can also play as Rambo.
Yep, that's crazy.
Yeah, that's pretty fun to do. RoboCop, Terminator's in there, Rambo's in there. Who else is in there? There's another character that's kind of like from that era. That's a pretty fun game, Mortal Kombat 11.
I haven't played it, but I didn't realize there were so many just kind of random characters like that.
Is the Joker in that one, or is that the Joker in the other one?
Like 10? I don't know.
Could be. I don't know. Yeah, I love this game. It is a fun. It's just so fucking of the time, right? It's like, I also think they just really nail RoboCop like walking forward. Like you're right about the jumping. The jumping feels a little. The way he climbs ladders is like it's way too fast to be RoboCop, right? It's like he flies up ladders in that like weird mechanic where he grips a wire and slides across the wire. It's a little weird, and he speeds up like the longer he's on it. I almost think that's like might be a bug that they just left in there. There's all sorts of secrets in this game too. It's like there's walls that you can shoot to get into secret areas that
Mhm.
have more extra lives, or extra weapons. Like there's also and it's got this cool mechanic where you can switch weapons. You can carry two weapons at the same
Right.
time, and you can switch between them depending on the situation, which comes in handy. But you have to be really careful about like not. It's the ghouls and ghosts problem where you really have to stay away from the weapons you don't want.
Mhm. Yeah, I was trying to figure out exactly how that worked because I would have like normal weapon in the A slot and then good weapon in the B slot. I'd be on B and pick up a weapon and it would auto put it in the A slot instead of replacing the one that I had.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I think that's what it does, right? It replaces the one you're not using, or does it replace?
I
Or
think
does
it
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 just
like
move it down the
defaults.
row?
I think it just defaults to or right, yeah. So I don't know if it does that or if it's just defaulting to removing the regular gun.
Yeah.
I don't know. Couldn't figure it out.
Ultimately, though, my favorite weapon in the game is the pistol. It's not because it's the best weapon in the game. It's definitely not. It just feels so good to fire it, and it looks so cool, especially when he's holding it up diagonally, and just like, because that just feels like a RoboCop ass thing to do.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that you can just hold the fire button.
Yes, me too. I enjoy that. The game does get difficult. It is definitely one of those games that you have to just kind of memorize, like that fight you were talking about with Kane. Um, I, I that would trip me up for a while as well. You just have to know the timing of when Kane is going to move and when you need to jump over him, because otherwise you just take massive amount of damage if you touch him with your pinky toe.
It's
But
like
once you get that timing, like you don't even lose any life against them.
yeah,
It's just that kind of that was of the era. Is like you
right.
just
Yeah.
learn these things and just move on. I love this game. I think it's not the best game on the Genesis, but it's one of my favorite games on the Genesis.
Yeah, it was a good game for sure. There was nothing in it that like really got to me. It was just little things here and there. And ultimately it has a lot of charm even how gory it is. And nothing felt awful in it really.
No.
As far as like movement or anything like that. It's different. It's much different than anything that I had played before. Just mainly with the jumps and the shooting directions and stuff. Just it takes a minute to get used to.
There are many versions of this game, right? So the Genesis version is widely regarded as the best version. It was the version that the team that like created the idea and created everything started with, and then it got ported to like just about everything that was also out. Right? There's a Super Nintendo version which I want solely because the box is made out of 3D plastic and it's a really unique box. I don't know why they went with this like kind of gray like 3D box aesthetic. Yeah, can you show the? Actually, I have the. This kind of like 3D box aesthetic that they went with is on all the versions, but on the SNES they actually printed this in plastic in 3D plastic, so these are raised up, and it's really fucking cool. I never saw it until actually you showed it to me one time. It's fucking. It's. I just want that on my shelf.
Yeah, I don't own it, but it's very expensive. I've been trying to get it for about $100, but it goes in decent condition for 200 plus.
Yeah,
Just the box. Like the game's not expensive. It's less than like $15,
yeah.
but the box is stupid expensive.
In screenshots, the Super Nintendo version actually looks better, but in movement, it looks way worse.
Mm.
Like they do this really cool lighting effect in the Super Nintendo version. RoboCop, I think his sprite in like his still sprite is more detailed and more robust on the Super Nintendo version, but there's not nearly as many frames of animation. The game also has less weapons, but it does have this like 3D mode 7 like shooter kind of area. There's also a version on the Game Boy which looks a lot like the RoboCop 1 and RoboCop 2, kind of not very good. And there's a Master System version which is pretty good, and the Game Gear version which is pretty good for a portable game. And
Yeah.
then there's an NES version that never came out. It was never actually released, but it was nearly finished, and the ROM is available online. And that actually looks a lot like the Batman game for the Nintendo Entertainment System and plays fairly well.
Hmm. Curious why I should have looked into why that didn't get released.
I think the rumor is that it was so late in the NES's life that they just like it wasn't that great a game. Like, why are we even doing this? Like, this was not late in. This is not early Genesis game, right? It's like 1993. This came out.
That's when games didn't take super long to develop because there was not a whole lot of parts and teams and like this was like what a 4-person team mainly, something like that. It was a pretty
I don't
small
know.
team. I think the core team was like 4 people.
Wow.
Um, it was a pretty small team.
Anything else
There's
about this?
I don't know if you saw the developer interview from Games Radar about this game.
No, I didn't.
So yeah, it was pretty cool to read through that. Talks about kind of the intro and some of the different things that they try to get around. The fact that they used the engine from Spot Goes to Hollywood
Yeah,
or Cool Spot, excuse me, Cool Spot and Global Gladiators. It's the same like game engine that those games used.
that's neat. Oh, and there's a blood code for it. There's an extra violence mode. So the regular violence mode with blood splattering everywhere is just normal mode, and then it goes up a notch if you put in the code. It's got like a blood code like Mortal Kombat.
I didn't know that.
Yeah,
But yeah, there's a few codes. There's in like debug mode and secret room, immortality mode and stuff like that that you can turn on.
yeah.
So just for the sake of like finishing the game, I kind of want to do
Just
that.
checking it out, like seeing what what craziness it has to offer.
So can you tell me real quick, like there was those were they hostages that you had to rescue? Like what was in the first stage?
Man, I've read the manual to try and figure out what the story is to this game, and I mean, it's got like a scroll. You can see it actually behind me if you're watching the video.
Yeah,
That is like the scrolling story. The Super Nintendo version actually has like comic strip, like cutscenes at the beginning and between levels, but it's all based off of this like 4-issue comic book that was RoboCop versus Terminator that came out sometime in the 90s. To my knowledge, it doesn't make any fucking sense, so it's not really worth like interacting with. Like, it's got something to do with like RoboCop like was decommissioned, but then his brain was used to start Skynet. So like they came back in time to, basically, how do we get RoboCop to fight Terminator? Like, it's just a series of dumb fucking excuses to try and make that happen. And it's got like side characters that you don't care about. All you care about is RoboCop fighting Terminator, and like that's what you want to get to.
something something space something something time RoboCop Terminator Go.
Yeah, exactly. There was a fan made movie that's I think on YouTube or Vimeo that you can watch,
Oh
where they
man,
actually have RoboCop versus Terminator in it. I looked at the Dark Horse comic. I think I read like the first half of the first issue. I was just like, this doesn't make any fucking sense. I don't care about this. I'm not wasting my time here.
probably why there's only 4 issues. Yeah.
Yeah, probably. But I mean, the idea for the game is brilliant. Like, it's just so fun. It's just
Yeah.
so fun.
We need more crossovers like that.
Yeah. And just lean into it, just get all the characters from all the movies in there. Just like, who cares about continuity or timelines? Just get them all in there so we can just mash it all up and have a good time.
Rambo versus Rocky.
Yeah, yeah. I don't think Rocky has much of a chance.
Well, it's both Sylvester Stallone, so
Yeah, but
there's
one of
always
them
a chance.
carries a fucking 18-inch knife and a machine gun. One of them has boxing
Crocodile
gloves.
Dundee versus yeah.
Who'd he go up against? Crocodile Dundee versus the Crocodile Hunter.
Well, we know who'd win that one.
Who?
This is really fucking dark. I'm so sorry. One of them is already won because the other one can't fight. It's fine.
Well, yeah, but in theoretical, if you got them both in their
I know.
prime,
I'm just being an asshole.
that's not a knife. Is there anything else we want to say about RoboCop vs. Terminator? If you have access to this game, check it out. It's never going to get a re-release because the licensing is so fucked up for this game, right? Like, it's a good miracle this game ever got made, I guess. Like,
I don't think there's
licensing.
any way to play this legally digitally unless you buy the cart or emulate
Yeah.
it. The
Yeah,
cart's
I
like
would imagine.
$20-ish dollars, I think.
Yeah, it's not expensive. It doesn't seem to be that popular. Even to get a box copy isn't that expensive, like a full box copy.
I saw the copy that you got before I got my order in
Really?
because I was yeah, well, because there was only, I don't know, like 1 or 2 copies that had sold within 2 weeks of when you wanted to do that game, so I was like, "That must have been the one that he picked up." Like, yeah.
Well, I guess we should go on to pickups then.
Yeah, you got some.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
got two that I want to talk about. Obviously, one is RoboCop versus Terminator.
Yeah.
We both got it. Um, it was hard to find a copy
In
of
good
this
shape.
game that didn't have damage on the label. For
Mhm.
some reason, there's like a dimple. It seems like on the top of this cartridge.
That's typical for Genesis carts, though.
Most of my games don't have that, but also there seems to be like fading on a lot of these. It's got like I don't know. I think it's just got a low quality print to the sticker on these. We have different lighting in our room, so I don't really know if.
I had to
But
buy a copy from Canada. It was the one I got one from Canada.
I was happy because my box is basically perfect, and my manual is basically perfect. It doesn't even look like it's been opened. There's no cheat codes in the back or anything. Look at that, blank. Kind of weird. But I'm really happy to have this on my shelf because this is one of my favorite Sega Genesis games. Then I got something that, I don't know, kind of somewhat retro, somewhat new. I got the Shadow of the Ninja reprint from Limited Run that came in a box with a manual. But what I really liked about it is it's a blue cartridge, and I thought
Yeah.
that was fucking dope. I like this game a lot. It's kind of Ninja Gaiden-esque. But I like, it's one of the things about NES is like, why didn't they have multicolored cartridges like they did for the Famicom? It's so cool. So I'm not gonna lie. Half the reason I ordered this was because it's kind of this baby blue cartridge, and it has a manual, and it's one of my favorite games. I know that Jay doesn't like reprints as much as I do, but I really wanted this one on my shelf. And I think I paid more than I would have for an actual used copy of it.
Well, that game goes for, I think it's like in the 40 or 50 range. Like that game is on my list actually
Yeah.
to pick up as well.
But yeah, I was pretty excited about that. All over it, it says that it's limited run, so there's no mistaking it for an actual like original copy of it. But you know, it's got a box, it's got the manual, and it's got that fancy blue cartridge that I think is just so trick.
I'm gonna be going to the game store soon. That's gonna be top of my list to pick up.
Shadow of the Ninja,
Yeah.
yeah.
It's
Maybe
going
we'll
for
have
like
it on a
$75 per cart right now.
for the cart. Oh, so I
Yeah.
guess I did okay by buying a new copy.
Yeah.
I think it's probably $50 for
Let me see
like
that.
the
Let me
new
see that
limited
box
run.
again.
The limit.
Oh, okay. So I was like, why is the seal circle? I was like, that looks like a POW copy. That's dope.
This
Yeah.
it says limited run inside of it.
Right. Yeah, that makes sense. But when I saw it originally, it was just the circle, and I was like, that looks like a because like PAL, PAL, uh, boxes have those circle seals, while the
Yeah,
NTSC ones are oval. Interesting.
yeah. I think it's kind of neat. And it's, you know,
You come with a manual and everything.
oh yeah, color manual too.
Nice.
Well, the 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 front is color. The
Yeah.
inside only has black and red.
Hmm. I'm a fan of color cartridges for reprints, though,
Yeah,
because then you can differentiate, a reproduction versus original.
I think it's just fun. I ordered another cartridge this week. I can't remember the name of the game. It's like Aria,
Oh
but it was a
yeah,
clear cartridge.
yeah, that's the one with the digital content that they're doing.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I think
I
that
heard
was
about that one.
unlimited run. While you're doing your picks, I'll look it up.
Sure. I have a handful, nothing crazy. Uh, so I picked this up mainly because I didn't even know this game existed. Actually, I don't think I talked about this last show. Um, it's a Game Gear game, X-Men Mojo World.
Oh, interesting.
It looks awful.
Does it?
I
gotta look
got it
that
for
up.
cheap because basically somebody was selling it. They're like, I can't test it. I don't know if it works. So here you go. Um, but I didn't know this game existed, and it looked interesting. Um, just I don't know. I like picking up weird, obscure stuff.
You can only
So
find
I'll
video of this on the Masters. Oh, there it is. Okay.
X-Men Mojo.
Yeah.
It's
But
it looks awful.
you get to play as
I
Gambit.
watched I watched. Yeah, you get to play as the different characters, but like just the movement and everything looks
Yeah.
awful.
It does look
It's like
awful.
really slow.
Anyhow.
So next two games,
Oh,
The
you posted these on
Simpsons.
Twitter, right?
Two out of the three Simpsons games. Uh, Bart versus the Space Mutants and Bart versus the World. I played Space Mutants a lot as a kid, but that means I played the first level a lot as a kid because I could never fucking figure it out. I watched I watched somebody do a let's play of this, and I was like, "How the fuck? What? How did you know to jump on the window? There's like no indicate. What? How did you jump on that? No, that doesn't look like you can jump on it. Like just everything the person was doing. I'm like, that's bullshit. Like you can't tell all that stuff. So like it just inherently have to know, where to jump and things like that. And apparently I don't know if I've ever actually played Bart versus the World. I watched some video of this. It looks fantastic. And it
Really?
got a lot better reviews than Space Mutants as
Oh,
well.
really? Is there an
Yeah.
actual
Like
good
eights
Simpsons
and
game?
nines, like it looks more like an actual like platformer.
I
And
don't
then
know if people forgot or if people just were too young to know this, but in the 90s, in the like early 90s, nothing in the world was as popular as Bart Simpson. Like
right.
he was everywhere. Everybody had Bart Simpson t-shirts. Like don't have a cow man, like that Attitude Era, like he just was it. So like the fact that they made NES games, they just fucking got those things out as fast as they could, like to
Three
capitalize.
games, yeah.
Yeah.
The third one, the Radio versus Radioactive Man, is quite a bit more expensive. These I ended up getting for I think like about $40 each, complete in box though,
Oh,
and they're
that's
in
not
good
bad.
shape. No, I mean they go for a little bit more in this condition typically, but I was like, those look good. I'm gonna get them. Oh, and I guess I didn't say how much I spent on Mojo World. I got it for $10 shipped, which is, I mean, I will buy almost any game for $10
Yeah, that's basically free.
if yeah. Especially
If
if
it
it's
costs
like an
less than
obscure
lunch.
game. Yeah, if it's an obscure game I haven't heard of, I'm interested in it, like um we were just talking about this game a minute ago. What you mentioned this months ago, and
Hmm.
ever since you mentioned it, I've been on the lookout for a good complete copy on eBay. They are more, I wouldn't say rare. They're not listed as much as you would expect. Kind of like RoboCop versus Terminator, you would expect them to be fairly common, but I either only ever see them as cart only or just beat up to shit box. But I found one seller for two of these games, and Cool Spot
Cool spot.
for the SNES, which I've never actually played. It is a platformer. It's actually a good platformer. A lot of
Yeah.
people say that this is kind of a hidden gem.
Yeah.
I mean, the cart now, just a cart copy is like 20-25 bucks, which is
Wow.
surprising. The one thing that pissed me off about this listing is the picture was from this angle, like kind of the bottom up, and it looked fantastic. And then I get it, and the top is faded. There was no
Uh,
picture showing the top, which made me kind of sad. Like it's still in good shape, but it's just like light fading on the color, which is minor. But
yeah.
I just hate it when sellers don't show all the angles.
Cool spot. For anybody who doesn't know, the cool spot is in reference to the red spot on the 7 Up logo. The game is
Mhm.
like a 7 Up branded game. Although I didn't see any 7 Up branding on the box there. Is
No,
there any?
Virgin Games.
So had they like separated the spot from 7 Up?
Oh
Like,
no,
is there any
actually,
7 Up? There it is. Okay, so there is a 7 Up logo on
in
the
the
box, but look
corner.
how
Yeah,
small it is.
yeah.
Like, yeah, it's like he was a commercial character too. He was in commercials, and then they
Did
made a
he
video
whistle a
game.
lot?
Yeah, they made a video game of him. Like in that era, like mascot characters, mascot like side-scrolling platforming games were like really popular. So there's just like everybody was making one. They made a Noid game based on the Domino's pizza Noid. They made that. Chester Cheetah had games. Yeah. But that one was good, which was, I think, the most unusual thing about it. Was that it was good.
I've never played through it. I've thought about, eventually I think I want to make that one of the games that we cover.
Okay.
Because it's a solid game, but not this week.
I think there's a connection to Disney's Aladdin with that game too, and I can't remember what it is. Like somebody who worked on.
It was actually in that developer interview they talked about specifically Aladdin and Cool Spot.
Oh, I'm gonna have to read that interview. The one for Terminator versus or RoboCop versus Terminator.
Yeah. So it says RoboCop versus the Terminator's style separates it from its peers and secured Virgin a hit away from its family-friendly fare such as Cool Spot and Aladdin. So same producer, developer. Virgin Games was the developer, right? So there you go.
Yeah.
Same developer.
Do they make games anymore, Virgin? I don't think so, right?
I haven't heard of anything, but it's possible that they do.
Maybe again bought up by another company or renamed. Who knows?
We might have a special guest again.
We get a poop update?
He needs a screwdriver. Okay. He wants to take a toy apart.
Oh, okay.
He likes to do that. If a toy is broken, we'll let him take it apart, see how it works.
Yeah.
Like a cheap toy or whatever. He likes
way to
gears and seeing how things light up and all that stuff. So, and motors and things. So if a toy is, like an old like hand-me-down toy that he gets from somebody breaks, we're just like, yeah, screw it. Here, open it up before we throw it away, kind of thing.
Yeah. Seems like a good idea.
Yeah. The last game I got, and a lot of people are gonna know this even just from the PC version, SimCity 2000. This is I played the heck out of this as a kid on PC, and I think I played it a little bit on the SNES. Not the best game to play on the SNES because your controller is basically a cursor, right?
I don't think it's that bad though either. Like I think it's well regarded.
Yeah, no, this is the best SimCity game for consoles for sure. But this is a lot harder to come by and expensive than I would have anticipated, actually.
Was that game? Was there a SimCity or was there only a SimCity 2000? There was a Nintendo developed, right? SimCity that actually had like Bowser as one of the disasters that could happen to your city.
Really?
Yeah, I think so.
That one's a lot cheaper. I don't know if I've ever actually played the original.
Me neither. Like I play SimCity on a PC because
yeah, right.
But I think they are well regarded. I've never played either one.
So the same thing happened with this though. It's because it was the same seller. Like he had all the pictures from the bottom. I was like, oh yeah, there's a little bit of wear, and then I get it, and there's like this like crushing on the top that was not in any of the pictures. It's just like, oh come on. I mean, I probably still would have bought it, but probably wouldn't have bid as high.
Yeah.
Anyways, so those are my pickups. 5 games in the last.
Pretty good
weeks.
stuff.
Yeah. So
I am going to keep my eye out for RoboCop versus Terminator, the box, but man, I'm not willing to spend that much money on it.
Yeah. I'm not going to say anything because if I find one for a decent price, I'm going to buy it. So it's just going to be Briar and I competing on eBay to try to get a decent copy.
The problem is I check eBay once every 3 months for about 20 minutes. So I'm unlikely to win this little.
You never know. Maybe you're taking a poop. If your best bet would be in the morning while I'm sleeping.
That's true. Just get in there, buy it now.
There you go. I'm giving an advantage to my competitor over here.
Anything else we want to do today? I think we could wrap it up. Oh no, we got to find out what the game of the next week's game is.
So I've been, I take this very seriously, like what game we're gonna cover.
As you should.
Yeah.
This is serious business.
Serious business. This is not all fun and games, even though we're talking about fun and games.
This isn't
Uh,
to be taken lightly like some Mario movie.
it's a me like Mario and stuff. But I will like Google, hidden gems. I'll Google like some of the more highly regarded games. Do I want to do NES, SNES, Genesis? I think once the Pocket comes out, we'll probably start covering more handheld games. Um, but this was kind of and also like we've done a lot of side scrolling and difficult games, and we've had shmups and things like that. I'm like, all right, let's do something a little different. Uh it's a platforming game, but it is an achievable platforming game,
Oh, something
and
that's
it
not going to
is
beat the
one that
shit
has
out of me
held
for
up.
2 weeks.
Yeah. So we might actually be able to finish this game. So it's a pure adventure game, and it's actually in the title, Kirby's Adventure. I feel like it was appropriate
Oh, I've never played this.
because I think there's a new Kirby game coming out at some point. So I was like, hey, it's topical too.
That's NES Kirby's Adventure.
Correct. The
Okay.
original. The
Yes.
number one. So and there's so many Kirby games out there. There's games for Game Boy, there's games for NES, SNES. There's different versions like Kirby's Avalanche, there's puzzle games, all sorts of stuff. Um, and Kirby's most notably now, I feel like in Smash. Like that's kind of where his shtick is now, is Smash Brothers. But
Is
I
this the
want
first Kirby game?
I'm pretty sure this is the first.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Came out
I already
in
booted it up.
wait, this says 1993. That couldn't have been the first.
Yeah, it was a late NES game. I'm positive that it was a late NES game. I don't know if this is it, but Kirby's Adventure. Oh, he's so adorable.
Was Kirby for Game Boy? Okay. Kirby's Dream Land was the first.
And that was for Game Boy?
Yeah. And then the second game was Kirby's Adventure. So Kirby's Dream Land was released in 92 and Kirby's Adventure was released in 93.
All right.
I didn't think they were that late.
Yeah, it was real late on the NES.
But there's a lot of games. I'm on the wiki, it shows like kind of a hierarchy of all the years and stuff.
I've
It's one
never
of
played
the
a Kirby game at all.
my god, there's like 30 games.
I know.
They
I've never played
it's
any of them.
one of the characters that's been so consistent too. Like there's literally a pinball game on the Game Boy Color. There's a pinball land on NES, I believe. Or no, that's Game Boy. Yeah.
I'm excited.
Cor- yeah.
This is gonna be a brand new for me. My first Kirby game.
It holds up well. Very highly regarded game. So excited. I don't know if I've ever played this Kirby game. I've played multiple Game Boy games,
Is your
and
copy sealed?
no, it's just got the original shrink wrap on it.
Oh, okay. So are you gonna play that copy of it, or
Yeah. Yeah. It's not a super expensive game, but so you can see like the seal is broken at the top.
yeah,
It's just sometimes people leave the shrink wrap on, which is always
yeah, it
nice.
makes sense because it keeps the cardboard nicer.
Yeah, I like I don't know. I'm partial to like pristine cart copies and labels.
Yeah, that's got nice art on it.
Yeah. He's like eating the paper away from the label.
Have you seen any of the footage for the new Kirby game, like Kirby Stark Apocalypse, whatever it's called?
Mm-mm, I haven't.
It looks crazy, man. It's like he's living in like an apocalyptic like Earth.
He's learning to suck for one last suck.
Maybe Kirby is the apocalypse.
Oh god, that's a good point. He's eating up the whole world. That's the one thing that that Kirby likes to do. He likes to suck. So there's going to be a lot of sucking for the next 2 weeks.
Well, if there's anything I support, it's sucking.
Yeah.
I am pro
I
suck.
still, even though I haven't played a Kirby game for a long time, I can very distinctly remember the sound that he makes when he's sucking. It's like
Yeah.
a vacuum on high. Like, I don't know. Like, I literally haven't played a Kirby game for, I don't know, 20 years.
Wow.
But It's something that's stuck in my. And then the music is very, very light and friendly and upbeat and stuff. Oh, you have Kirby going on in the background. I love it.
Yeah, I threw it right up there.
There you go.
I am really excited about this. This is way outside of my wheelhouse. I was way too cool to play Kirby games when I was a teenager, or I thought
But
it
yeah,
was.
Sonoma in chat says that it's a pretty accessible game. Like this is something you can relax and play. Like it's not something you got to be
I'm in.
freaking out about or yeah.
Nice chill
So
game. Hell yeah.
yeah, we haven't had very many chill games other than
No.
maybe like
There's not.
Actraiser or
I
something.
mean, that time period was not known for like chill games. I
Right.
played Key to Bridge of Spirits. Have you seen that game?
I've been watching some people play it. I've heard good things.
There's like 90% of that game is like a nice chill game, like a nice story and like relaxing, and then there's like 10% of it is like Dark
Boss
Souls
fights.
bosses.
Yeah,
Like what the fuck?
I'm sweating over here.
Yeah. This is a great pick. I'm really excited about this, Jay. Awesome job. I can't wait to play this. I'm probably gonna play it when we get off the call tonight. Just start in on it. I'd like to beat this for next week because
I believe.
I have no Kirby experience.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's on the Switch Online Library. I know it's on the
Oh, is it?
NES Mini. Um,
I
and
might
it's
play it
not a
on the
very
Switch
expensive
then.
cart. I know it's under $20 for the cart too. So,
Is there saved? Do you know if there's save games or a password feature or something?
well, if it's on the Switch, it definitely would be.
Yeah.
I think there's saves. I think it's like Zelda. I think there's straight up saves.
Let there be Kirby.
Yeah, if it's anything like every other Kirby game has save states, so I'm pretty sure. Oh, apparently this is like $25 now on NES. Interesting.
Kirby's Adventure.
Yeah,
$25. Maybe I should get a real copy of it.
I think Mario and Kirby Classics join Nintendo. Yeah, so this is online. It got brought on to the Switch Online in 2019 with Super Mario 2.
Okay, so I can play it on the Nintendo Switch online service. I can play it on my
Everybody
Mister,
can.
which is where that's how I was able to get it so fast on the TV behind me. But I think I'm gonna try and get a cartridge. Why not?
Pretty easy to get.
Gotta
Um,
try out some Kirby.
we forgot to mention. I forgot to mention at the beginning of the show.
Oh shit!
Uh, to commemorate the year of RetroSlot. This is episode 27. So last episode was the year. I decided to give away an analog pocket.
Yeah,
So I have two pre-ordered. Uh, I will try to. I don't know if I will be able to buy a third to send, or if I have to use one of the two that I pre-ordered. Either way, we're giving away an analog pocket. You can enter on Twitter at the retro slot on Twitter, and I will pin that tweet so it'll stay up for the end of the month. So basically through Halloween, you can enter. It is free to enter. Um, I didn't even make it required to follow Briar or I, but you always feel free, of course, to follow our
I've got
individual
like
Twitter.
10 Smurf accounts ready to go. I am
Yeah.
on it. I'm coming after it.
As it stands now, there's not very many people that have entered since I tweeted it earlier. 24 entries so far, so like 6 people have entered currently.
Perfect. This
So
is a high. This is as high a high chances. This is you got a better chance at getting one from RetroSlot than you do from getting one from the company that makes them.
yep. If Briar wins, though, I'm gonna call shenanigans.
Uh, yeah. I'm gonna get everybody in my house to join. Frankly, if this thing gets sent to Connecticut, you know that something's fucked.
Briar's got like hundreds of bot accounts ready to go.
Ready to go. I'm winning this thing. So just follow RetroSlot on Twitter, and you'll see a tweet, and you'll be able to enter there.
The tweet's out, so it's the pinned tweet on the RetroSlot Twitter, and it's through Gleam. So you have four entries. Check out
Perfect.
Instagram and follow DCP Live on Twitch and RetroSlot on Twitter.
Awesome.
Yep.
Did they ever release pre-orders for the Turbo Duo thing?
Pre-orders? No, they have not.
No, they announced it, but they never put the pre-orders up, right?
Yep.
How long has it been since they announced
last October? It was a year ago.
Yeah, and we thought that pre-orders would go up in the spring, but I mean, COVID, right?
Yeah.
All right, let's get the fuck
Fine.
out of here. I got some Kirby to play. I got some shit to
All right.
suck. You know what I'm saying?
That's gonna be the joke all for the next 2 weeks.
Yeah,
Get
I'm gonna
your
go
suck
hard on it
everybody.
Thank you everybody for watching. Yeah, where can you find where can we find you for the next couple weeks, Jay?
Oh, I asked you first.
I'll be talking a lot about Destiny on DCP. We talked a lot about Deathloop and Kenna Bridge of Spirits on the SideQuest podcast, which we recorded yesterday. That's up now as of the recording of this. We got a lot of stuff going on, so check them out.
Shifty eyes. And you can find me on Twitch, Twitter, and YouTube at JSniperton. Some folks have come by through the stream from the podcast, and I appreciate it. Like, I'll mention retro, and somebody will pop up and say something for the first time. Like, they've been waiting. Like, can I talk about retro? Absolutely. Any moment of any time, if you have retro questions, comments, concerns, quarrels, I'm always down to talk retro, even if I'm playing Destiny or whatever. So we stream in the middle of the night if you're ever awake in the US and, want to not be awake or not be asleep. I don't know.
If you want to reignite the console war between Genesis and Super Nintendo, Jay's chat is the place to do it.
I have an itchy band finger. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, lots of fun, good community, kind people. Good place to hang.
Awesome. Thank you guys for watching. We'll see you in 2 weeks with Kirby's Adventure. I'm really looking forward to this. What a great pick, Jay. Nice. You nailed it.
You suck. We're sucking all week long.
See you soon. Thank you. Bye.